What's going on, guys? Good evening. Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another episode of The Red Carpet. Big up to Dev, big up to Marcel, big up to James. Links, as always, to everyone's channel, everyone's socials in the video description below. Show some love. And actually show some love to yourselves, folks. As a community, we've got to keep strong. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on in the transfer market. Unfortunately, it's not to do with Manchester United. It's to do with anyone but Manchester United. Whether it's Arsenal getting closer to Victor Gyökeres, whether it's Newcastle getting closer to Hugo Ekitike this evening, whether it's Real Madrid signing our former players in Alvaro Fernandez, getting a little bit of money for that. Manchester United are. But in terms of Manchester United news, kind of silent-ish again. Whilst others are announcing signings of players on social media, we're showing players arriving at Carrington again for pre-season. There was genuinely a video, I'm not even joking, guys, of someone like mowing the grass today that they put up, which was unbelievable. According to the latest news when it comes to Bryan Mbeumo, this week, whatever that means, we're in active talks. Maybe a third bid will go in. He still wants to join Manchester United. There's optimism we can get it done before the end of the week or by, the USA tour. Of course, we're back in action on Saturday in Sweden. There's also a bit of a rumor that, according to Fabrizio Romano, we've been offered Dusan Vlahovic from Juventus, but Man United aren't even focused on that at the moment. They're focused on Bryan Mbeumo, and I'm not advancing on this deal for Vlahovic yet. Marcel, I'll start with you. Before we started, you came in. You're usually positive, optimistic, and you said, "I'm really sad, guys." You said, "I'm really sad. What's happening to our club?" How are you feeling?
I'm really hurt. Big up everyone. I hope everyone's good. Hello, chat. The whole Man United universe. Hello. We are in a dire situation. And I can't believe it. Like I generally thought a couple of weeks back, how long have we been talking about this Mbeumo signing? Like, how long have they been talking about negotiating? What is going on? And then even getting rid of players. Like I know I got to the desperate situation where I was like, at any price, and I still think that makes sense to me at this point. But we need. Have you seen the business that Chelsea have been doing? So they're going to get ahead of us. Liverpool are already ahead of us. They've made 5 or 6 signings. Arsenal, they're now beating us to the place that we wanted. Like, we're top 4 is like 2-3 years out of sight if we don't bring a fresh new set of players in to help Ruben. Otherwise, he's going to be gone, and then we're going to be back in that manager cycle of managers not getting the type of players that they need for their system again. It's like we're in mad sets of rabbit holes. It's crazy right now, and I'm just absolutely distraught now because this is taking too long. This is
Marcel. This is Marcel saying that. I don't know if I've ever heard him use the word distraught before, and he uses a lot of words, but never distraught when it comes to Manchester United.
It's the second week though, Owen, isn't it, guys? It's the second week of pre-season. They're even showing us that as well. They have the audacity to show us that it's the second week and we've only got 1 player in. Other clubs have got 5 and 6 in. The people that we're meant to be competing against or in and around anyway. So I'm looking for another difficult season now. Or I'm looking at another difficult season. Which of course I'll back the manager. I think we have to still back the manager, and he has to go through the pain just like us. But the Ineos are really letting us down here.
Dev, how are you feeling? You're a positive guy as well. Is there any positivity to be found out of what's happening or not happening at the moment?
I've not reached Marcel's level yet, but I hear why he's saying what he's saying. But I think we all knew this was going to happen. I think the people who thought that somehow United losing the Europa League final was a blessing in disguise, I think they're actually understanding what the hell that day meant and what it was going to lead to, because the financial windfall of winning that tournament would have given us a few more signings, and unfortunately it hasn't. But we have to play with the cards that we're dealt. I'm still happy with the two new faces that are through the door. I am happy with those faces, but we said last week it was all about outgoings as well as incomings. And the fact that that's not really moved the needle is really irritating. And the Mbeumo news, the more I think about it, the more I've reread and seen that stupid announcement that we all jumped on from Ornstein at the beginning. And really, all he said was he's given us priority and we were going to start negotiations. Like, Cunha took a while to get going before we actually signed him. And he introduced us all right to the beginning of the Mbeumo saga, which hasn't even become a saga. It's not become anything. And Mbeumo is being a professional. Apparently he was at the Brentford training ground today, still getting his yards in, whatever, not forcing through moves like some of the others around Europe. And I'm looking at moves being made like with other clubs. I'm jealous of some. Like, I look at Arsenal, like, you talk about Arsenal Gyökeres all you like, but we would have wasted because we don't have the midfield to source him. But I'm looking at when they buy the likes of Christian Mosquera for like, what, 20 million euros, 15 guaranteed, and that got done really quickly. Like, those are the types of deals I'm looking at, thinking anyone could do that. We could have done that. Like, that's a good player. Richard Rios is on his way to Inter. Why is he on his way there and not on his way to us? So I think I look at those types of deals and I'm a bit upset. But realistically, like, we all know in the next few days, so much can change. And if we do get Mbeumo done within the next few days, just before pre-season, we're all on the dopamine rush again because we've got two big names coming in. So I have to judge it before, like, and when I see the plane that goes to the US, that's when I said before that, like, if that plane isn't filled with a few new faces, a few academy grads, and all those toxic ones are out, or at least off that plane, then I'll be upset. So I have to judge it until then. But it's looking really tight to the wire when I don't think it need to have been this tight, because I'm hearing Visser has been interested by Nottingham Forest, which means if they lose Visser, they won't lose Mbeumo. Like, I feel like we should have been the ones to get that in first and then start the chain of events. We're arriving at the end of the chain where the values for our players are going down and theirs are going up. So, yeah, they need to hurry up. But if they end up getting the Mbeumo deal done at the price we want, you would say it was worth the wait. So I'm hanging in there, but by a bit of a shortening thread at this moment.
Ritesh says, where is the full view? I've been waiting for it. It will be back in the off season. It's always just difficult to schedule, especially with tour coming up in pre-season, but we'll be back. No worries about that. Red Baron says, don't like being doom and gloom, but if we only sign Cunha, I might start thinking about where we finish next season in the championship. Jonathan's the latest member of the UE Members Club. Welcome to you. I'm pretty sure you have been a member before. Keegan's been a member for 36 months. Says Marcel went from not worried to distraught real quick. Get comfortable. This transfer window will humble you. Big up, all. Big up, Keegan. Mr. the Comedian.
What's up?
Welcome. I don't actually know where you stand recently. You've been shockingly, flip-flopping a little bit of some day you feel positive, some day you are distraught, screaming. Some days it's a blank slate. Then it becomes
stages of grief, really.
Conditional
you
blank
got to call
slate.
it the stages of grief, and
how are you feeling at the moment? Heart to heart.
I would say I'm in the acceptance. And probably trying to decide. Well, what is it going to take for Amrim to get a tune out of like what he has?
Have you seen the Ekatike news, by the way? Have you seen that news?
Oh, what is he getting to Newcastle or something stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares? This is what I'm saying. It's like,
that's my guy. I like that.
Got to that stage where, nothing surprising anymore with this Manchester United side. We always go back to it and talk about finishing 15th and being where we are. We're not involved in. It doesn't feel like we're involved in the transfer market, and the club posting the picture of is just like, do you see the picture they posted recently? It's Onana and Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah. I was saying that there's the video of someone cutting the grass at Carrington. I couldn't believe it.
I feel like it's just somebody's taking the piss in it. They must know either what's going on.
They are completely different people, but it is crazy.
This is ridiculous. Like, surely those two players, like, it's like the worst of us at the front and the back.
It's too on the nose, isn't it? It's too on the nose. You know what I mean? It's not subtle.
Either our account's been taken over by a Liverpool fan and he's just doing banter, or what's going on? You're only left with questions of like, why have you not done this today? No one will want to see this. Like, maybe they're getting tired of just keep showing us pictures of Cunha, because even that now is there's only so many different pictures of Cunha going to training they can show us, you know? So it's long, but I'm just kind of hoping that there'll be a player on the plane. I've resigned to knowing that we're not playing anyone against Leeds. You won't see a new signing in that Leeds game. I've resigned to that feeling already. But it's like, how far and how bad could this go? You know, that's the real question of how late are we gonna be? And there's that. I was watching James' stream, shout them up to tears every single time. I was watching you, and he did that thing that you do sometimes when it's like the soft launch, when you went, yeah, Jackson, yeah, Jackson. And then after I was like, the Jackson thing is where I've tried to prepare my mind to know that at some point, I feel that's what this club's gonna go and do, is go and get Nicholas Jackson. I feel like all the stars feel nicely aligned. Age group, they want something that we have, you know. He's out of favor, super out of favor. Because
see how much Chelsea value him as well. Did you see the thing? Did you see how much they value him at KG? 100 million.
60.
There was one that said they value 100 million, which was insane. Man United not spending any money in the window and then go to get Nicholas Jackson for 100 million. Could you imagine?
Well, no, but I think I don't be surprised if in that kind. I'm not surprised at anything that can happen in this window. That's where I'm at right now. So yeah, acceptance is where I really am. You know, probably be angry tomorrow, but it's Monday. Like, he wants to be pissed off on a Monday.
Maybe. I mean, and for those that think, you know, only bullshitting about the Man United admin or whatever on Twitter, legitimately, this was earlier today. Just someone mowing the grass. That's what it was. Just someone mowing fucking grass at Carrington. That's the content.
Nah, but have you got the Rasmus one? That's the one that's the killer. That's the killer one.
Half an hour ago that was.
That's the killer. That's the killer.
Look at the first one underneath.
That's the killer. That is the killer. He's injured, and the other one can't score.
Yeah, it's madness. Absolute madness. James, I'll go to you next. I mean, are we gonna get anything this week? Do you think, or are we just gonna be waiting until tour, or is everyone now in the dark about what's going on?
I mean, I think this is the week where things pretty much have to happen. I said it. I put it on Sunday in that same thing. I said it's kind of for me where I've reached not the end of my rope, but where the rope starts to fray, and I look at it and say, if something doesn't happen this week, then it is a serious problem. You know, at this point in time, if you don't have a significant signing in the door, and one. And as well a sale and things moving towards the outs, then I start to say, you know, it's all been kind of pointless. I can understand very much there's no real reason to rush signing Mbeumo in June or early July, but he's back, right? He's back. He's here. Mm-hmm. You've done this deal for this long. He's in training today. You're going on tour in 8 days. You're flying to the US, something like that, 8 or 9 days. You're playing your first game on Saturday. There's a point where the financial gain you might be making from haggling stops making sense. And you have to say, if we can't get a deal done this week, today, tomorrow, by Wednesday, I think at the latest, you have to be ready to turn and sign somebody else in a heartbeat, a striker, get somebody else in the door immediately. Because you can't keep doing this any further. There's no benefit being gained here. There's nothing happening, you know, that there's nothing we're getting out of this anymore, out of the time that it's taking. There's no possible benefit to it. It is only negative from today, each day moving forward. We're just losing, not gaining anything. I think it's worth a little bit of extra money to have more training time. I think it's worth a little bit more pay to give Amram what he needs in the preseason. We've hit that point from my perspective where that's going to happen. We have to. It has to be. So this is the week for me. I still think we'll get him, but it is weird. The part that I can't quite wrap my head around, which it's kind of hard to acknowledge to look at. Nobody is not spending money because they're like taking it for themselves or out of some sort of greed or something like that. So I don't understand why, if it isn't done now, what is actually going on with that? Like, how serious is the issue behind the scenes if we cannot get something done this week? I think that's to me, the more worrisome question. Nobody's taking money out of this club right now, and not for a while. Nobody is not spending money so we can just save it for something else. If we can't get this done, what is the actual reason and what's really going on? That worries me more if we're not going to see something improve right now.
Super chat here says Ineos aren't going to do enough to get us at the table. Amorim has proven he can't adapt to the players we have. We are destined to fail next season. DRZ says, hi guys, how many goals do you think Mbeumo could score in the league if United if we sign him? I'd be pleasantly surprised if he gets a dozen. Ronnie says, is someone trying to sabotage us from within the club? David G says, if no one wants to buy the players that want to leave, is that on Ineos or the previous regime for the contracts they're on? What can Ineos do? We kind of spoke about that on Friday. Postbanton says, Mao, as in Mbeumo. Is it Mbeumo? Mbeumo? To be honest, I think it's one of those ones where let's just fucking sign him first. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He does.
Red Baron says, we're like alcoholics sucking on United's teats. The joy has vanquished. The only thing that remains is pain. We keep going back for more. C1 Chaos says, at what point does Bruno ask to leave? And Show says 6 weeks, no Mbeumo, United fan accounts gassing fitness regimes and lean players. United admin tweeting grass cutting and Onana and Højlund. Circus Club. Michael says, Onana is a hologram. I'm sick of this shit. He can't save, and going the other way, we can't score goals. The fans see the issues, but the staff getting paid thousands can't. There is no urgency anywhere. Well, you see with those super chats how everyone's kind of feeling at the moment. I flexed in a video the other day, and I'll just leave this open to the panel, but he sort of questioned the powers at B failing Ruben Amorim at the moment, right? One of those super chats just a minute ago sort of said Amorim's on record saying that he can't get more out of what he does have. There were those reports saying he wanted the players gone by the beginning of pre-season. He wanted players in by the start of it as well. I think there was another report today from The Athletic saying those that are not in any of the plans, i.e. like Rashford, Garnacho, etc. They're basically told you can obviously use Carrington, but we'd rather you arrive when nobody's there. Once everyone's left for the day at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and they won't be involved most likely at the weekend because, again, they can only use facilities when everyone's left or traveled to Sweden. Are Ineos failing Amorim with this lack of business, or is it the sins of the past that's just failing the club in general? Anyone can take that.
I think it's a mix of both, but I think that the sins of the past are the most important thing because I can't imagine too many regimes which would have been able to fix this in like with this season, with the way that it went. How many are going to be able to fix it in 8 weeks or 9 weeks, however long it's been since the season ended? Like it's not easy, and it's not, these people are employed to do their job. Of course they are, but this is not an easy job whatsoever. The fact that they still managed to get, I'm still excited about the Cunha deal. I know it's not enough, but to still get one of the most exciting attackers in the league, let alone where the Wolves finished, bar none, one of the best attackers in the league to join us when we're at our lowest ebb, is still impressive. And to still kind of clearly at least back the manager in terms of what he's saying and saying, they are trying to manufacture moves elsewhere. But, I know Marcel said a few times about like, accept whatever offer comes to the table, but we don't know the figures. Like none of us can actually sit here and say we've seen the actual balance sheet on what puts us in more trouble later down the line. And, people are irritated that we're not having senior recruitment, but our youth recruitment continues to shine. It continues to do really well. And I made the point on one of my shows the other day that if we'd had continued to do that for the past 10 years, we wouldn't be in this mess now. So it is what it is. Like right now, the senior recruitment isn't good enough, and I hear you. But if we continue that side for the next 10 years, we'll never be in this position again, because either we'll sell those players, sell them on, or there'll be value there, or they'll be good. So, that is a positive to take, that the focus is going to a correct place. But let's not act like moving Marcus Rashford on the biggest contract that we've ever handed anyone, almost, like bar Cristiano maybe, that he's only a few grand off that. Like, trying to move him when he's had an okay season, trying to remove Jadon Sancho when he's rejected reportedly 180 to 200k a week to stay at Club World Cup winning Chelsea. And to say that, moving on Garnacho when he's come out, made it all about himself when your fans are devastated after a European final. These aren't easy moves. Like these are horrible, like, excuses of people who think that they're looking out for self-interest and don't really care about the club. So they're thinking it's not just about how we've acted or what we've said. We've got self-interested players who are disinterested in the club at large. So every club that looks at them just sees them as a self-interested player who won't care about their club either, regardless of what they do on the pitch. So this is hard and it is difficult. And I think, would we be having this same solemn conversation if just Mbeumo had gotten over the line? Probably not. So to go down the one ebb and say, things are horrible, like things are bad, they are. And Mbeumo would make us feel quite a lot better than where it is now, because it gives us a bit of hope. If we sit here tomorrow and the deal's done, like you have to think, how does that change your mindset? And really, if we get on the first plane, like James said, in like 8 or 9 days time, whatever it is, if we get on that plane and Mbeumo's there, Cunha's there, Leon's there, these young players are there, like even the ones we got at the club, the ones that have been put on fitness regimes to fit the part of the squad, which Amrim did in his first season at Sporting, the Jack Morehouses, the Chidos, or the Kones if he's not loaned out. Like, if these players start to get bedded in and we sell one of those, and like I said last week, if that one domino falls, we'd be pretty happy with that. And knowing that this time last season, Xerxes was the only one over the line. So it's not, we're not exactly moving slower than usual.
No, we can't use, this time last season as an indicator purely on how bad our season was last season. That was so bad that we have the biggest issues out of any Premier League side, I would say. The other teams that failed are not in the league anymore. Spurs are in the Champions League. It's a different situation. They got a new manager. They're changing up their situation. So Man United, out of all the teams that played last season, were the worst.
No, I hear you, but don't you say, like, the desperation has gone up, but then the situation to actually cater to that desperation has gone down, and that one I think has probably sank further.
So the fact that we finished that low is why we can't solve these problems so quickly as well.
No, like, but then they are connected. That doesn't. No, that's still wrong in a way. We're still like,
I'm not happy with it. It's just
I'm not saying I'm not saying you're happy with Man United, right? I'm saying that where Man United does, we've kind of like accepted this as this is not acceptable what's happening right now. Man United had a horrible season and we should be on the front foot trying to let the fans, they said they apologized to the fans. They cancelled barbecues, they cancelled parties, they've stopped certain incentives for staff, and they've got rid of so much. Well, to what end? Why
good times are coming, KG. Good times are coming. Remember that?
Yeah, well, that was just word. Those are just words, right? He struggled with his season, with his team last season. So either you're telling me that he's learned so much in this off season that he's going to be able to use the players now, and that would be like the height of delusion if we was to say that. So really, he needs players, and we're failing him. But still, along with what Ashley Young's saying, it doesn't give him a pass. He now needs to make this work, or he's going to be gone. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Man United, our first game is against an Arsenal side who are strengthening. They're talking about as a by the time the season starts, I imagine Gyökeres will be them by then. But they were better than us last season. So we're still meeting that same good Arsenal that are good in the air, and they have now the weapons up front. We can't afford to say we should be the most proactive team in the Premier League, and we're not. And that is a big worry. Like, that's more worrying than anything, because I'm just talking about getting in distance of the top half of the table. Not to mention the other stuff. You got our goalkeepers come back injured, guys. This is where we find ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. Marcel, you're nodding your head.
Desperate feeling equals desperate times equals desperate measures. We should be selling players for 5 million. I've been saying it a long time ago. And I was talking about making sure that we had a degree of readiness for the very first time that we kick a ball for the first preseason, and you've accumulated your little 50 million, and you work from there, and you go in the free market and you bring 5 or 6, 7 players in, because that's we can't shop at Waitrose. We've got to go to Lidl, we've got to go to Netto. And it's just what you have to do right now. Like for me, that was just really the mindset. You've got to go and accumulate your 50, 60 million, getting rid of those players, getting the wages off the books, and then you get an Ndidi. Okay, it's what you have to do right now to patch up a few things. You get a couple youth players in as well, but you build from there. He can, like what KG's saying, you cannot sit there with the exact same players and expect something different to happen. So I would rather get an Ndidi in and at least you're bringing 7 new footballers in that have a new set of abilities and characteristics for this system. Because clearly, the likes of Garnacho is not going to do it. And yes, again, I'm going really desperate and dramatic with the number. It's not going to be 50 million. Garnacho, you should be able to drop it down to a 30, 25. Rashi, you should be able to drop it down to a 50, 25. You have to, but KG, you have, and what it is, KG, as well, we have to go and offer these players to the clubs. Why am I seeing so much, this player's offered to Man United, that player's offered to Man United? Why is Man United not offering XYZ player to XYZ club? It doesn't make no sense. I'm not seeing enough of those reports. I need to be seeing thousands of those over the next 5 days. Thousands and million. So for me, it's just really frustrating. And that's why I'm in the desperation mode, because from last week, I was thinking, it's okay. The next 7 days, I'm going to see something. I'm going to get a conversation from Sir Jim. I'm going to see 2 players walking in the door. It's 2 weeks now into pre-season. And my manager was telling you last season, he wants set XYZ amount of players in through the door at the start. And he knows he can't do what he wants with this system with these players. So we're in a big, and then when you think about the competition, again, City have added as well. I forgot to mention City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Well, that's the top 4 done and dusted. It's done and dusted. So we need to add footballers. There's no way we cannot add footballers. And for whatever price it is, get red.
Marcel,
I'm sorry, I can't get on board with this. 2 years from now, we're doing the exact same thing, because we've signed Ndidi, we've signed Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we've signed Tolisso, you see him in the news today. We signed these players. This is how we got here, because we signed Eriksen, because we signed, I'm not blaming them, but they're too old. We signed Casemiro. We did this where we said, oh my God, we've got to get players in. Andy Mitten said that we signed Donny van de Beek to placate fans, because fans were upset about us not signing players. And that's what people are begging for. And this is why I can't go that route. And I look at it and I'm like, this is where I can't get on board with some of the panic. You take it and then you say, we're going to create problems for ourselves again 2 years from now. What we're doing now, it sucks, but we have not signed problems that are going to kill us 2 years from now, which we've done every single summer for the last 10 years. We've signed so many, we all the way back to the Schmidfield. We've been signing players since 2014 that have made it. We cannot do more in the next 2 years. We're signing young players. We're signing guys like Leon, and these are fine. And we're signing players that we can be sure of. That strategy is good. It's the execution that has to speed up and improve. The strategy is okay. I don't think there's a better way to spend 120 million at United than getting 2 players who are definitely going to work, rather than get 6 players where half of them are a problem 2 years from now. I can't get on board with that route.
I don't think there's a middle ground to that, though, James. There's a middle ground to that. Firstly, the first box that needs to be ticked that was never ticked was it has to be a player that the manager wants. Casemiro was not wanted. He just wasn't wanted at the club. So there has to be certain criteria that is ticked within that. And if the manager wants the player, then you go and get him. For me, I don't think you see a problem in 2, 3. I don't know about Calvert-Lewin, but I don't see.
I'm not even. We don't even do bro.
If it's Mateta, then I don't see a problem in 2, 3 years time. So again, there's a middle ground to that.
I think when you look at players, so like there's obviously that Richard Rios player that's available, and his price is not crazy. It's those kind of deals. It's getting involved in. It's getting involved in.
What if he's just
do we?
not good?
Yeah,
Like,
are those kind of players though? There is this sort of like genre of player that I feel like every summer gets popular, and then like 2 years we're like, they're a bit shit, aren't they?
But then what do we not get involved in the market because that's on every player? Like any player cannot be good. Mbeumo could be shit at Man United.
But we've got much better reference point for him. We've got much better reference point for Brian Mbeumo than we do for Richard Rios. How many times have you watched Brian Mbeumo play versus how many times have you seen Richard Rios play?
Way more.
And he's in the Premier League. He's in the Premier League.
He'll play against the same people. He just has to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing against 19 of the same teams he played against last year. He's going to play against next year.
It'll be fine.
My thing is just saying that we should try and when there's little market opportunities, we should try and be there. The good one. I'm not saying go and sign trash. I'm saying like the decent players that Man United, you could have got that player. Because let's not forget, we're the same Man United that had Caicedo offered to us for 5 or something million, and we missed out.
When we make those signings, people say they don't count. We signed him. But what if he's Caicedo? What if Diego Leon is the Caicedo, and then we say, oh, it doesn't count?
But what about this as well?
Today? Like, what if those are the guys?
Yeah, and I would guarantee under this new strategy, if that had happened now, we'd have signed him. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying he would.
We would have.
Or
Julian Alvarez, right? Like we missed out on like Julian Alvarez, Caicedo. Today we would sign those players, but today we sign them and people would go, "It's not good enough," which is fair enough. But they're the things we still have to do in addition to these big signings. I think we're doing good on that front. I think we're doing good on those things, but not on the first.
That's the positive. Right and just to piggyback off what Marcel was saying, I hear what you're saying. Like you just want to get them gone for whatever price necessary. And I know you're being a bit hyperbolic with the numbers, but the number that you just quoted there for Garnacho, with the desperate number, is what Chelsea got for their third choice goalkeeper, who's gone to Bournemouth, Petrovic. And that was a player who was desperately not wanted, said he wanted to leave. Like I've looked at all this crap that he's been saying on socials as well. Like he missed training a few times. He started showing up late. He's an unwanted player. So, and we got to remember, we all live in this Man United bubble where everything that we say is worse than everybody else because people talk about it all the time. But Petrovic was an unwanted goalkeeper that's gone to Bournemouth. And it's like they know how to get value out of their players. It's now up to Ineos to say, can we get some good value out of ours? Because I just want market value. It doesn't have to be like perceived. It doesn't have to be this. Drop it down a little bit. But I'm sorry, if Gittins is 55 million, Garnacho clears him. So it's like if we got and then I would drop it. If we got Gittins money for him, I'd be pretty happy with that at this stage. But then even that's probably not enough considering who he's up against, who you can compare him to. And again, that if we were to just wait a little bit, even if it means we can't start the season perfectly, and again, I'm going far in the future here, but if we do end up getting the money that we want, that then enables us to buy 2 to 3 more players depending on the numbers, because that's a pure profit deal as an example, which we can get 3 times more what you're saying. So it's like that is kind of just, I want to hear, like we're hearing numbers being flown around for Jadon Sancho. I don't think anyone's happy with that, but he's a bit of a special case. He can just get gone.
Take it.
But that's what I mean. But like all these other ones, we can't be like that because there isn't that perceived value at the club for another few years that aren't starters. So that's why we need to really hone in now and use that money wisely in the market. Because if we don't, bro, we'll be in this position next season. Again, this is the time to suffer that pain, unfortunately, and accept that this is where we have to be. Because guys, we finished 15th. I hear you. Like that's where we are. That's where we're upset. That's where we're angry.
Yeah,
that's where there should be
last season, bro.
No, but bro, that's where we should be upset.
No more, bro.
Yeah, but last season in the window, none of us could have expected this to happen. No one expected this to happen last season. No one did. It was on no one's bingo card. Maybe that we would sack Ten Hag, whatever. But no one could say we'd sack him at 6th and end up 15th. And no one could say that the players that Ineos have brought in were like, they actually turned out, some of them okay. But a lot of them and a lot of the players around them did what they did. No one could say Rashi would say what he did in December or what Ghana would say from January onwards. Like you can't predict these things. So it's just this summer, unfortunately, these are the cards we're dealt, and our bargaining position in terms of what we got in the bank and what we can say to players, what we can say to clubs has dipped far below what I would say is dipped below our ability to act desperately. It's dipped below that point. Because if we do be desperate and we do miss out on any real opportunities to make money, to save money, we're back in next season. And we can't do that. We've proven, bro. It's July 14th. We've proven we can't do this again. So get it right now.
Just very quickly, Marcel, before you jump in, we've got a load of super chats to get to. Shenanigans says, have to stall the deal another month as the club needs to save those wages to pay Twan Sabi's lawsuit.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's mad. Suing Man United.
Man.
Medical negligence. Dwayne says, UV family, it's been a while. New season, same shit. Like Mike says, Muppeteers said we didn't need to sell Bruno to buy players. How's that going now? All the strikers.
We've made 120 million in offers, so we've obviously had some money.
There you go. RJ says the board and recruitment team have really killed all hope for me. Tell them to buy Sheshko and they'll come back with Cisco and a thong. Useless.
Good reference.
Cozy says Chelsea are one player away from challenging for the Premier League. Super Arch says Mbeumo returns to Brentford, training source Brentford. I know they put out a video like an hour ago and it ends with Brian Mbeumo walking into training. So we're going down that route again. Dwayne says, I'm an advocate for Ruben, but he won't survive if the business is like this. Top 6 has been active. The rest are starting to get active. We're behind. Henri in the Champions League says, we don't need Mbeumo on 9. We have Cheeto and Lacey. Dio says, Marcel drops a nugget every 50 words. 1,000 mils. I did pick up on that, but it's no point just even going there. Michael says Sancho 50 million, Rashford 35 million, Anthony 25 to 30 million is more than realistic. Marcel 5 million to lose 10 players for 50 million and replace them with 1 or 2. Stop this shit. I'm already the Champions League says Mbeumo is a waste of space, performed once in 5. Simon says, can we draw some parallels with Barca? They were in a mess too, but are rebuilding smartly. United can take some notes. Chibudi says, my hunch is it's a cash issue. Brentford probably want more like 40 million up front, over 40 million up front, like the Osimhen Galatasaray deal. I think we just don't have enough cash. And like you said, that's a big problem. 70 million in the bank as of Q3. Chalaboy Comics been around for 20 months. Says United should be making 2 windows worth of signings this summer. One a week is a huge edge. One game match a week is a huge edge if we raise the squad quality fast enough to exploit it. Shake my head. And Don F says Ruben scammer him. And Scamcliff. We've also got nearly over 2,300 people watching. We're less than 40 likes away from 500 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get to 1K likes. If just half of you or even less than half, you click the like button, we'll get to 1K likes. And be sure to subscribe as well, not only to United View, but to everyone's channels. Links is in the video description below. Everyone's got their goals that you can hit. Marcel, you were about to say before the super chats.
We need a goalkeeper.
Yes.
I know you mentioned Petrovic. I would have been interested to maybe go and get him. And I think we need to look at Mateta now, and still look in the Premier League. You know, I don't know what's wrong with looking at the Leicester players. I think Ndidi's a cheap price and a cheap option that can add some strength and some steel into the midfield. You love
circling back to Ndidi, don't you, Marcel? That's not the first time you've mentioned that.
Yeah, I have no issue. If you sell Garnacho, I'm pretty sure you could maybe do a deal where you get Ndidi, a goalkeeper, and maybe a Mateta or something. You can get more. Like, we just need to get rid of the players, and maybe it's not 5-10 million. You know, someone just made good price points there, about 15, 25 and 30 mil, I think it was. You know, you can do that, and I don't know why we're not offering these footballers to clubs. It should be regular news that I'm seeing every day on X.
Just on the goalkeeping stuff, actually, as well, because obviously the news came out a few days ago that Onana was over the weekend, wasn't it? He's got a hamstring injury. He's going to miss all of pre-season. He's going to miss the tour. And maybe because of that, you know, Man United are weighing up about getting a new goalkeeper or not. KG, I remember, you know, you got nailed to the cross over it, as Flex would say, about the goalkeeper being a priority. Yeah, exactly. I mean, regardless of the fact that he's injured or not, I think we should be getting a new goalkeeper. But now the fact that he's injured too, and who's the alternative? Bayern, Tom Heaton in 2025. Can we even afford to go through this window and not get a goalkeeper?
We can't.
We saw Bayern last game of the season. Yeah.
No.
That was a worrying sign. Him having that ball in his hands and then out of his hands. Oh my God! And as the goal, I think the referee just felt like they've gone through too much. We're not gonna. That's a foul. Literally, it wasn't. It was not a foul. But then, like, they felt bad for us. You know, when the referees are feeling bad for us, yeah, it's dark. We cannot play Leeds, and I see Altai running out there. That would be another nail in the coffin for me personally.
Well, who's it likely to be then? Realistically, who's likely going to start against
Vitek.
someone that we want to
Is
try?
it Vitek? It'd be Vitek's back. Yeah.
Go for it. Let's try him.
He had a good loan. I mean, why not? Yeah.
Go for it. You might as well. You've seen what Bayindir is, and you're not going to start the season with him. Don't waste your time. Let's go and find the guy or bring in another guy. I swear they said that Milenkovic, Savic, the brother, the goalkeeper one, he was available for like 7 million or something stupid like that. Get him.
Goalkeepers aren't that expensive. This is what I've been saying so often, is that I get in certain positions, i.e. striker, like you're always going to pay a premium for a striker because, you know, they decide games. So do goalkeepers. Goalkeepers aren't expensive. Like you can go get a goalkeeper for like 10 million. You know, Bayer Leverkusen just signed Flecken for like 8. You see him going around. We were linked to that guy. What's his name? From Brazil, from
John
Botafogo.
Victor.
I forget his, yeah,
John
we
Victor.
linked to him. I think we have to. I'll tell you what though, it does bother me that like it feels like it's only a conversation point because Onana got injured. Like it shouldn't be a conversation anyway because he's not very good. But I don't know. It just feels like as well actually that one of the big criticisms of the way United moved in the market for the last however many years was United can only do one deal at a time. In or out. They could only do one at a time. They focus on one, they get that done, they move on to the next one. I remember that season when we signed Mount, Onana, and Højlund. It was like, right, Mason Mount done. We've done that one. Now we're going to focus on Onana. We've done that one. Now we're going to focus on Rasmus Højlund. This ability to sort of multitask or do these multiple deals still seems impossible. I mean, I mentioned at the top of the show, United got offered Vlahovic from Juventus. I'm not saying he'd be the option or a choice to go down or anything like that, but the fact that the initial pushback is, well, we're all focused on Brian Mbeumo at the moment. And you go, again, it's been 6 weeks, 7 weeks. How much focus does that take?
This is what I'm saying. Is this what you look like unfocused? This is you lot focused. So it's taking all you lot focused and you still haven't put in the third bid. What kind of focus are you lot doing? What happens when you go to work?
Very ADHD, isn't it? That kind of focus.
There's got to be me and other strong ADHD candidates because they're doing everything else other than doing what you're meant to be doing today. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't get it. It's just it can't be. I'd love to just be a fly on the wall, not to report, just for my own sake, just to know what these meetings actually go in for. Is like so you know who your guy is, you know what the bid is, you know what the money is. Either it just screams as though it hasn't been reported, but I feel like we might have just made our best and final and the ball's in their court and they're waiting. Like I don't know what it could be, but it's like, yeah, I said that a few shows ago, like be creative now. Like go and see some other options, flirt a bit. Do you know what I mean? Do what you're supposed to do. Like go to Lyon, talk to Malik Fofana, who's available for like 20 odd million. Like go to PSV and talk to Johan Bakayoko because somehow he's going to end up going for 20 million euros. Go to these clubs and just start chatting and see what you can do. Because like I wouldn't be over the moon if we ended up with a player like that, but at least we'd be, you know, just not right now. We're just doing nothing and just twiddling our thumbs. So yeah, we need to get creative, man. We need to do that quick. But like I say, I think panic stations. Once I know who's on the flight, I'm still hanging in until then.
I mean, one of the things on that I was talking about last week, and I'm just mentioning it because someone messaged me that, you know, Laurie Whitwell said it on Talk of the Devils that I talked about this a lot last week, but from the United perspective, what he said there is Brentford to keep changing the price on them in the talks. So like they come in, they make that second bid, they believed it's what Brentford were told them they would accept, and then they say, nah, it's actually more. So then they go into situations saying, well, what do we do here? Because we think we've got another bid. We think they'll accept it. Are they just going to change the price again? But I think in that scenario, you know, that's why I'm at. If you can't pull it off today, tomorrow, you put that offer in. If they don't get it, you've got to just move to somebody else and get something else done quick. Because I get it. Like it can be, you know, they could be dicking around with it, which I think they are, to be fair. But you've got to be able to then just change tack if they're going to keep dicking around with it and do something else quickly.
Can I ask you guys what you'll do? So let's pretend we don't get Brandon Mbeumo. Yeah. What you lot like? What do you do instead?
Goalkeeper.
KG,
I go by Watkins tomorrow.
If that happens, this is what I was going to just push back to James about. Like, is it one of those situations where we're in too deep? It's been 6 weeks. We can't walk away. You know, we got.
That's what Brentford will hope. You know what I mean? That's what Brentford are hoping on.
No, but then we can't.
Gives them leverage to mess with us.
If you're saying walk away, and then because then after you scrap with the 2 10s of Mbeumo and Mbeumo and Cunha, and you're probably going to go Cunha and Bruno. Do you now go for the serious midfielder and find a 9, or do you? And the 9s are going. You
still have to get someone in that front three, don't you? You have to, because you can't have a situation where your intention was to replace the entirety of your front three in the summer and then end up with only replacing one, and you end up with 110, and then
they're going to get a
forward. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
get Mateta and a goalkeeper. And you go back to Bruno in the 10.
If you get one, like Mateta's a good suggestion too, but if you get one forward, you can play Bruno at the 10 as a solution there. You know, you can, but you still need that forward. It's not a bad solution. Bruno, Cunha, Mateta, Bruno, Cunha, Watkins. That's a good front three. That's a solid front three. You know, but yeah, you gotta sign a forward. You just have to.
Yeah, give me an athletic midfielder, a forward, and then whatever. Then wait on sales, basically, because I think you can get. Depending on how much Watkins might cost. Like I've looked at a few different options before. You guys are laughing at me when I say my striker one, but like I've looked at a few, but I just want a good Premier League proven player. Like if we can strong arm Villa into a decent deal for Watkins, which I think after their recent fine, I think we're actually in a decent position to do, then why not? But yeah, get him. And then I've always been the midfielder, but I'm quite excited to see Kobe this season, and I want to see him thrive as much as possible. He's on the regime. He's looking trim. He's looking good. So Bruno in the 10.
I was gonna say that was a heck of a tease not to say who it was. Who is the striking option that?
You guys are gonna clown me. I can tell, but I think I'll tell you this now. He's a player who I think he's one of the most underrated strikers in the Prem. He's 24 years old. You probably have it in your head. He scored against Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. He scored twice against us, and he's currently been touted with a 25 million move away. If we can't get our targets, I'm going for Rodrigo Muniz. I think he's underrated, extremely underrated. He's always bagged against us, which everyone does. But he's a complete player. He's a complete forward. He's good in the air. He never backs down. He doesn't die. He always scores away goals, which I love. He always shows up in big games. Last season, a goal and assist every 94 minutes, and I think he's severely underrated. And now they're looking potentially abroad. I remember seeing initially Leeds were after him, and then they priced him out. But I think Roma were looking at him for 34 million euros or something, so 27 million quid. Sign it in a heartbeat.
It's not the worst sign. It's not the worst in the world.
And again, I'm not saying that this is compared to Watkins. Watkins is start. He's the main guy always. Muniz is one of them that comes in and kind of adds and hopefully improves. So it's not like a complete level up sign. I think he's better than what we've got for sure, but I think he's totally underrated. And I'll die on that hill. Every time I watch him, he impresses me every single time. I can't say that with every other striker that I've watched. Mateta will impress me once I see him ball at his feet down on the ground and that. And he might get a good finish off in the last 1 or 2 seasons. The day since Muniz came to the Premier League, I love his first touch. I love him in the air. I love his link-up play. I love he never stops ever. Injury record is decent. Towards the latter end, he got an ankle injury, but he's fine from that now. I think he's brilliant, and he's got.
Do you not believe that Xerxes will be better?
Stop it with your Xerxes agenda. Your Xerxes agenda is just disgusting, KG. Bringing up Xerxes again. You're never going to beat the allegations.
I'm not even literally not even saying that at all. Not even saying that at all. I'm just saying. I'm hoping that he's going to turn it. I hope he's going to be important this season. No,
I think he will. I genuinely think he will.
I agree with you.
It's so hard to discuss it though, because if you talk about anybody getting better at United, people get so mad at you right now about it. Like if you suggest that anyone will improve at United, apparently that's a massive sin. But I think if players don't improve at United, it doesn't matter who we sign. We're screwed. Players have to improve at United. We have to be able to make people better. We have to.
I think Cunha will make players better. Like I said this the other day, and James, you're so right, because everyone jumped to me thinking that what I said, they misconstrued it so completely. What I said was, I think Cunha will improve the players around him. They all of a sudden thought he'd improve everybody and we'd go top of the league. What I meant was he is. So I think Leon improves everyone in his immediate vicinity, in that anyone on his level, I think he gets Amas playing better. I think he'd like to fire under his ass. And I think he's also a good option to go in the starting left wing back in certain games. Cunha is an immediate starter, so I think he's going to level up some immediate starters. And I'm sorry, Xerxes last season, he was on a different wavelength to some of the players. And because Bruno was overcompensating, trying to do everything, he couldn't be on his wavelength long enough. And the minute he got injured, we all got worried. So I'd probably say Xerxes will get better. And if we do have this option where either it's Xerxes up top and you've got Cunha and Mbeumo running off him, or Xerxes up top, he links up with Bruno and you have Cunha there and they can all run forward, that's a really good option. There's not top of the league good enough, but it's good.
I've got one more question to the panel. Whoever wants to take it is fine. Because I'm seeing that obviously Anthony's taking a while. Is there any players in the 5 that are hated that you would reintegrate?
Nope.
No.
Absolutely.
Well, because if Ruben Amorim's made that decision, which clearly he has, and I also don't think it's like a unilateral one from Ruben Amorim. I think it's a kind of everyone's on the same page with that. You know what I mean? So I don't, because if that does happen, then it does go back to play. Nothing's changed. Player F, spin. KG, look at this.
But they haven't spin. They haven't. These guys, these two have.
Would you say if
James
Amorim,
and Marcel are silent? I haven't heard.
Well, I got two questions. One, are we assuming that like Ruben Amorim said, "Oh yeah, they're all good," so we're just asking for an opinion on this? Like if he hasn't 100% certain on somebody, then it's nobody for me on that respect, right? I will say, like, we had a little scare last week about Garnacho returning to training, which I was able to put to bed right away. That almost ruined the summer for me. That's like a signing, being able to get a player out that the manager doesn't want. I was concerned. Mostly I was concerned because you can't make that decision and have everything be public, and then 3 days later you've reversed course on that decision. That would be an absolute joke, right? More than it is about the situation itself. But in full theory, I reintegrate Rashford into the number 9 role instantly because he's perfect for it. But yeah, in theory, as a footballer, I would reintegrate him into the 9. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I like that you said the thought of Garnacho coming back nearly ruined your summer. Of all the things to ruin your summer.
You guys know how I feel, all right? You guys know how I feel. I feel strongly about certain things. There's a positive I see in all these players being removed about the culture changing that I think is going to have a bigger impact than people think. So yeah, it would have ruined my summer to see that culture change be just 3 days later. That's over. There's nothing in it. But
in theory, as a footballer, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but Jadon Sancho is an option.
Brother.
He's an option in the 10.
Brother, that's 4 years.
That makes my answer look better. I gotta tell you,
bro. That's 4 years where he's not played any good football.
Yeah.
What's the last good season he had?
Yeah.
What's the last good season that boy's had?
No, rarely any.
Bro,
and
when
I think
you two never responded, I knew we had an issue here.
To be fair, KG spotted that early.
You wanted an answer, though. You wanted an answer. I gave you an answer.
I feel like so clear
you're forcing my hand,
KG.
I feel like you're forcing my hand, and it's like if I
didn't do the hand at all. I asked the same question to everyone. Dev said absolutely not. Owen was clear, and I saw a cheeky smile from you guys. Chose to stay like quiet, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I wanted to see, well, how far does that go?
Because because I think if we cannot get any of these, let's just see what happens. Somebody's staying. Put it this way: somebody is staying out of the 5 because KG, just outline to me who the 5 are again, please. Sancho, Anthony,
Malacia.
Malacia,
Malacia, Sancho, Rashford. Who's the other one that we hate? Garnacho.
Yeah, so somebody might end up staying just because of how slow we are and how poor it's been. Ruben might be tasked with trying to keep one of them.
Sancho's at wireless and playing PlayStation all night. He's
Literally.
definitely not going to come back and play.
Yeah.
football.
He's
Sancho
very
missed
young.
out on.
At least
Sancho
Garnacho and
said
Rashford
no
have come
to
back to
Chelsea.
Carrington. They've come back to the ground. They're not allowed to actually be in training. They've got to come back when
At least
everyone's left, but they've
he's
come back.
a
No one knows where
footballer
Sancho
at this
is.
point.
Sancho's not coming back.
Sancho's a disgrace. He is a disgrace.
Wait, I can't believe man said, "Wow." Okay.
Everyone you could have said, Marcel, your equilibrium is off today. You know, you started off like
That's Marcel.
you usually
Today-
positive, and then you're scared. Like, oh, brother, what is this summer done to
It's
you,
been
man?
a horrible week, honestly.
I
It's
hear
been a
you.
horrible
You
week.
forgot one of the water or oxygen today because one of them's missing. I feel like.
One of them.
Yeah,
Man
exactly.
said freedom, young freedom. He turned down 180 or close 180, and he could have stayed at Chelsea. They're on the up. That guy don't care about his career.
Pound for pound, Jadon Sancho is one of the worst signings we've ever made. He is a disgrace. As a person with his entourage, I think he's a disgrace.
Can I ask you a question similar to this? Let's ask it slightly differently. Not counting Malacia because the situation is real different. But of the Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, and Garnacho one, which one's least problematic for United if they were to return?
Anthony.
Yeah, right. Isn't
Yeah,
that a bit of a
Anthony.
surprise?
That's
I was
the
going to
one-
say the
that's
same
the one
thing.
if I-
Because he
That's the one,
works
if I
hard.
was to
man.
do something, I don't want to do it. I'd rather him just leave because he did chat some shit. Like,
Yeah.
not bad.
He did a
but
little
he was
bit. Yeah.
a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of all the cheek that we've heard, he just was like, I just want to show how good I am. Like, and it's like, you know what, whatever. But the rest of them, I feel like Malacia shouldn't be involved in any of these negative conversations. I don't know what's happened.
No,
Is he just
yeah.
Rashford's friend? And it's just gone wrong out of this.
I think something's deeper there with him.
There has been, well, no, I don't want to talk anymore about it, but like there's been things on the medical side of it as a part of him not returning that were at odds with the club, and I imagine that there's something to do with that. So
Okay,
I'm
that's the
struggling
one
to,
that
like-
makes no sense. I'm like, you've done nothing. You grew your hair. You just got plaits. Like you came here.
You're just jealous, KG. Obviously, that's what you look at that. You just went. You grew your hair.
You just grew. That's what I'm saying. All he done is grow his hair, and I don't understand. He's done nothing, and he was injured for a season.
Yeah,
the guy
I
had
worry
nice
about
shit
him,
back
though, man.
sides, and then he just came back with a full head of hair, and now he don't play no more. What's going on?
I think there was a couple poor performances in there. There was a couple poor performances in there under Ruben where he just thought, you know what, I've made man. I know that he's not going to make it. So
Yeah, he did play a couple.
yeah.
Couple of super chats and we'll wrap it up. Dwayne says we need Denzel on these negotiations. D Wayne with the contribution, appreciate that. Van Diesel says get Ramsdale on the cheap for a keeper. Semek says it doesn't matter the reason if we don't get Mbeumo. Ineos are accountable, just as bad as chasing Frankie de Jong and not landing him. Ineos scrutiny would be justified. Katorga says Sir Jim Ratcliffe realizing it's not about top football people, it's more about investment. Swedish Rumble makes this point, but not investing by not investing you end up losing more. And Kyle says so Rashford was our Mbappe, but now Gittins is sold. Amorim made us finish 15th. Now we can't sell players because of him. Amorim is the problem. Well, look, we're going to be back next Monday, same time, and we're going to have played a match. Yes, but I played a game of football against Leeds at the weekend in Sweden, and I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about then, and we'll be totally calm, rational, signing through the door on a victory. No problem, right? No problem at all.
Cunha's getting 2 goals.
Yeah, Cunha.
Everyone's going to be real excited. Everyone's going to enjoy it. Cunha's getting 2 goals.
Diego Leon have a nice little cameo. Everyone's going to think he's the next Bale. It'll be fine.
Exactly. It's going to be positive. Big up to everyone for tuning in. We've still got over 2,200 people watching. If you haven't already clicked the like button, where do we end up at? Just over 600. We can get 750, 1K likes on the way out. Be sure to subscribe to United View. Be sure to subscribe to everyone's channels as well. All of the links, as always, are in the video description. So show some love, subscribe, and let everyone hit their milestones. As I said, we'll be back same time next week for the red carpet, 7 p.m. Are we live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.? Oh, tomorrow actually, Flex isn't back yet, so maybe KG and me, you might have to do something.
Me and you chat. Yeah. Let's wait. The morning show, you said.
Well, maybe but usually in the
evening.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah, KO.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Have a good one. Peace.